Yo, what is going on, you fucking martards up there in the Survivor Series Sunday? And no, do not adjust your screen. The masked man is not in blackface, and that is not his new mask. And no, that is not Morgan from Fear the Walking Dead. Alright? So, well, I'm going to tell y'all right now, the Black and Brown Throwdown. We are in full effect tonight. I got my man, Lude Scotto, the lewd one. Brother Jamal from the delegation, from the culture. What is going on, my brother?
I'm here.
He's just here. We got
I was ready to do my light. I had to do my Undertaker light effect. I don't know if you missed it. Everybody else seen it.
That's what that was. That's what that was. But okay. Whitney is always is the most magnanimous, the most scholarly, the most self-proclaimed most objective in the world, the Professor Chabelo de la Cruz. What is going on, brother?
What's going on there, Hustleites? How's everybody doing on Survivor Series Sunday weekend? You know what, WWE, I have to say this, Track and Jamal, I'm being objective here, but WWE, this is like the fourth straight pay-per-view or network special. They haven't disappointed. They're on a roll. I don't know, from SummerSlam to now. I mean, you got to crawl before you can walk, and you got to walk before you can run, and you got to run before you can fly. So you know what? They're crawling to walking right now. So, from SummerSlam to now, they've been having some good, decent pay-per-views. I got to say that.
All right, look, I realize that right now I'm on with two of the biggest WWE apologists that I know. All right?
Hell no.
That I know personally. Nah, Jamal's not that big of a WWE apologist. I can't really put that on him. But I will say this, with this pay-per-view, I didn't think it was bad.
But anyway, the beginning is the traditional Raw versus SmackDown 5. Raw, we have the captain, the phenomenal AJ Styles, Braun Strowman, Sheamus. We got, who else we got? We got Riddle. Well, not Matt Riddle, just Riddle. And Keith Lee against Baron Corbin, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso. Who else I'm missing out?
Otis.
Yeah. Otis. I don't know why they put Otis there. And, of course, the Friday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins on this one. So, I mean, I'll go with this one. I'll let Jamal handle the highlights here. I'm just going to say this for the symbolic purposes here. If anybody did not catch this, y'all sleep at the wheel. You know why this was a 5-0 sweep here? I think y'all know this. This was a microcosm of 2020 elections. This is Vince McMahon telling all of you that the Republicans rule the United States. This is the domination of the red. This is it. They're telling you that Michigan, there was fraud. There was Wisconsin, fraud. Pennsylvania, Georgia, fraud. This is symbolic. Georgia, fraud. This is symbolic, everybody. Hear this. Forget about storylines, forget about anything. This was Vince McMahon telling y'all there was fraud and Joe Biden is not your president. Go ahead, Track. That's it.
No, I ain't say shit. I ain't say shit till after Jamal says what he's got to say. I'm going to fucking wait till I have to. After you said that, wait. Go ahead, brother.
I didn't look at it like that when it was happening. But now that he said it, I'm kind of seeing it. All he had to do was paint it out for me, and I kind of see it. You got Otis, the everyman, and then you have the country bumpkins, Braun Strowman, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, AJ Styles. If you even look at these teams, they're I don't know how I didn't see this before. I feel enlightened a little bit.
You had the blue collars against the establishments. Listen, all right, let me tell you something. As far as I'm concerned, okay?
Owens, Seth Rollins is a woke. No.
Seth
woke god.
Seth Hotep is his new name, yo. Seth Hotep. Seth Rollins did all of us a fucking favor.
This man is a genius for noticing this. It's super obvious. I don't know how I watched this whole match without having that kind of
Seth
insight.
Rollins represented the Kanye West votes. That's what he did. He represented the Kanye West vote. He just got down on his knees. He told fucking Sheamus to do his part. Sheamus did his part, and then Seth was out.
Damn straight. That's what it was about. I'm just telling you, man. And you know what? It could have been racism. They could have let Keith Lee lose, and it could have been a 4 Raw team win. But they, Vince McMahon wanted to
racism in this shit. Can someone answer me this? Why the fuck does Keith Lee have to cover up his stomach, but that fat fuck Otis gets to walk around with his fucking belly showing? Listen, we know for a fact Vince told him he had to cover up his fucking stomach. Why does he have to cover up? But Otis don't got to. That's some bullshit.
I guess Otis got better abs than Keith Lee. I don't know.
Nah. Black stomachs matter, yo. Fuck that shit.
I'm gonna say that's reverse racism because Keith Lee's appearance is that he's the built powerhouse. Otis is supposed to be a sloppy tail dragging hard hat.
He's supposed to be hillbilly.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a hillbilly.
Wait, Jamal. I gotta disagree here, man, because when I saw Keith Lee in NXT, he looked like a stocky, big dude, but with the straps on, he looked fat. I don't know why. I just see it differently.
He does look fatter with the straps on. He really does. It looks stupid. I don't know why they did that shit.
That's only because the truth is that Keith Lee is fat. Like, so it's like how we trying to present this fatness and which one
when he's shirtless, right? At least you see the abs, so you know that he works out at some point. He's not just sitting on his ass.
We don't see any abs. You tripping right now. Keith Lee is a big dude, but he don't have no abs. It's not a thing.
Abs. It's like all right. He's got the look of he's trying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. He ain't got an abs. He's got a cooler. That's what he's got down there. He's got a cooler.
Yo, how do the eliminations go? Break those down for me.
Okay. So we had AJ and Jey Uso starting it. So that's gonna break down the whole story. So I'm not gonna go through everybody who tagged in and went through it, but we had AJ and Jey Uso started. Seth Rollins ends up sacrificing himself. He barely participates in the match. He comes in and he gets on his knees and sacrifices himself to the great Sheamus.
To the greater good.
To a broken. Seth Rollins gets eliminated. Shortly
did you read his lips? He said, "Defund the police," and Sheamus said, "No way."
Do what's right. Defund the man.
Unionize.
Unionize.
He just crossed his head. Sheamus kicked him in the face for the immigrants, for the legal immigrants, I guess. So Kevin Owens goes on a stunner spree, stuns Keith Lee, everybody, which I was surprised by. But then he gets eliminated because he gets caught by a phenomenal forearm. So KO is gone. Right after that, Riddle eliminates Corbin. So at this point, we have Raw at 5-2, and it's looking bad. Then we have a little Strowman Otis showdown, which I like. They did a couple shoulder blocks, tackles, but it ended up with Otis getting out of here, and that just leaves Jey Uso. So this is the part where I'm like, even though these are elimination matches, they're trying to paint storylines. So Jey has to defend SmackDown. He has to defend the table at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who's they cut to Paul Heyman looking in the back on the TV like, ooh, it's looking bad for you.
Shit. Okay, I missed that. I didn't catch that. I must have stepped away. I didn't see that part.
Yeah, they cut to Paul Heyman a couple times looking at, seeing how the match is going. Jey Uso is by himself at this point. His whole team's going. And Raw's about to pull out the sweep. Jey Uso's diving over the ropes trying to get everybody out. It goes bad. Keith Lee hits him with the Keith Lee thing. What's Keith Lee's move?
The Spirit Bomb.
Yeah, he hits him with the bomb. Jey Uso's out of here. Raw sweeps. He sweeps him.
Nah.
Boy.
Publicans won.
That's not.
Republicans won. Let's get it right.
They built the wall.
No.
They
Listen. Let me tell you something. SmackDown won, okay? Y'all, SmackDown won. We've got the votes. They're all in a secret bunker. We're gonna listen to Donald Trump here at the PW Hustle, and then we're gonna talk about it on this Conspiracy Horseman. Y'all, it's all a conspiracy, just like Donald Trump is really your president. That was my Ben Hameen impression right there for all those who don't know.
You gotta change that name from Spirit Bomb to the Dominion Bomb.
He hit him with the Dominion press. So as far as I'm concerned, that win was null and void. Socialists were involved in that win. You know what I'm saying?
That's how you saw it? I thought this was a rebuke. This was a rebuke to socialism. This was about conservatism.
Okay, the announcers don't get to call the match.
Okay.
They don't get to call the match.
You need a recount on that shit.
We need a recount for that match. But fuck that. What we got next?
What we got next is we got the Raw Tag Team Champions, The New Day, against the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits. I think what it was I think the New Day came out with the Gear of 5 costumes or something. Gears of War.
Gears of War.
I'm sorry.
He's not a gamer. Q's not a gamer.
Okay.
We have to have patience with him on this one.
I got nostalgia consoles.
Major in something, and I accept that you are a gamer major.
No, I got nostalgia consoles. I'm still on my Super Nintendo. I don't care about like PS5s and Xbox whatevers. Gear of War. They came out with that, and the Street Profits came out, and tag team wrestling is back. AEW had their Young Bucks and FTR, and this one showcased good tag team wrestling here. There was a lot of false finishes here, and of course, I'm not surprised that the Street Profits went over. This was actually a good thing. Nothing wrong with this match. The right team won. The legacy is built, and of course, the respect is given. And the only thing I guess I would say is I was a little bit confused. Like Big E came out, nostalgically. I don't know why you call it nostalgically when 3 weeks ago they gave him a send-off on Friday Night SmackDown, but he wasn't even around. He wasn't on commentary or something to add a little color into the match. But, it is what it is. But the tag team match was good.
There was enough color in that match, first of all.
I know that.
I'll say this. I loved that match. I absolutely loved it. I'll say this now. I will never play as a New Day in no fucking Gears of War. They can get the fuck out of my face with that shit. They was looking like big buff gay coons in that motherfucker. Listen, I was happy Kofi Kingston was champ, and I said while he's champ, I will lay off. I'm his brother, but as soon as he loses that belt, it's back to business as usual. So we back to business as usual. And there's a lot of people who have tried to explain to me that the New Day and the Street Profits both come off as coons. No. The fucking Street Profits are not coming out twerking. They're party dudes. That's all. It's no different than Private Party. They do Private Party better than Private Party because Private Party was first, but they do it better. I ain't gonna front on that. But this match in itself was fucking great. That was black excellence at its finest. And we here on the Black and Brown Throwdown, we are going to acknowledge the fact that was black excellence at its finest. That was a great tag team match. It had its spots. It had its kick-out fest. And being that it was Survivor Series and it wasn't for any belts, I didn't care. I looked past that. What I saw was a good match. The right guys won. Xavier and Kofi did the right thing by putting those dudes over.
Exactly. And there's a little stigma about Survivor Series about which teams goes over. Mainly due to John Cena and Nexus doing their thing. But this time, I feel like you have a team who's getting over. And it's hard to tell nowadays because the crowd's not there. But I feel like the Street Profits are building to something, and when the crowds get back, I think they're gonna be wow.
I think if there was a live crowd, I think they would have been more for the Street Profits. Not to say that, because I know everybody will say, "Oh, you're not a big New Day fan." No. I'm saying this straight up. I think that the Street Profits would have been a little bit more over than the New Day. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when you see where the Street Profits are going, and they are like the benchmarks of the SmackDown tag team division, because there's not really no tag teams really on the SmackDown side. So they're gonna have to lump in some teams, some single stars besides Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler for the Street Profits to do with. But this match was good. This is what was needed. Sometimes we all make fun of WWE with the lack of tag team wrestling, but the best tag team for WWE in the past 10 years against up and comers like the Street Profits, it did its purpose here.
I think the one thing we need to take away from this, or not the one, we don't have to take it away from the match, but one thing I'm looking forward towards the future is the breakup of the Street Profits, because Montel. It's not going to. It is. I just don't think it's going to happen for a long time. I give it. Okay. I say it's not going to happen for about 3 years, 2.5, depending. But what I was going to say is I know
what you see, and I see it too. So go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm just going to say I don't want Montez as the guy, and usually you can say the other guy could just go up. I don't want D'Angelo Dawkins going. I don't want him being a Marty Jannetty. Because I see he has star quality too. He's just not Montez. So if they do break them up, it's gonna break my heart if he becomes like Marty Jannetty. I know a lot of people feel that way, but he
ain't dating 14-year-olds. Don't worry about D'Angelo Dawkins, all right?
Listen, we ain't gotta worry about Jamaican jealousy. We ain't gotta worry about, hopefully, when he was 12, he didn't do a drive-by or nothing like that on anybody. But I just don't want Dawkins to go down the road of, he's done. I don't want that. I want when they do break them up, I hope both of them can be successful. But I keep saying this, even though I don't like him, not Montez Ford. I wasn't the biggest fan of his. Montez Ford is the black Shawn Michaels, in my opinion. A lot of people be like, "Oh, that's crazy." I'm like, no, it's not. That dude is the black fucking Shawn Michaels. And I think if he was one of those dudes who have the single matches, I think he will steal the show every fucking time.
That's a great comparison that I never thought about either. But he does have that kind of
And I'm not a Shawn Michaels fan, but I see that when I look at
Montez. Me neither. I'm a Bret Hart fan, so I hate Shawn Michaels. But I know Shawn Michaels is a
You know what I mean? You see what I'm
and he does kind of oversell in the way that Shawn Michaels would, and he didn't need to. And so, we're more woke wrestling watchers now, and we pay attention to these kind of things that we didn't pay attention to when Shawn Michaels was in the Rockers and we were 8.
Yeah.
So, we're in the older wrestling crowd, and we could see Montez Ford doing those kind of things that Shawn Michaels was doing, and it's like, you might see it, and it's like, oh, that's kind of corny, or it's just too much, but I think the way it's going to come over to the broad fans is they want him for the comeback. They want him to get it because he does a good job at selling those.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't want them to turn him heel either. I think he needs to be a face.
He can't go heel. He's not. Nah, he can't. I think
he could be a heel later, but he has to. He's someone. Usually they would start him off as a heel, and they probably would if they go that route. But I think I don't think they should make him a heel first. He should be a face.
If that split you're talking about eventually comes, Montez is the face coming out of it.
He's got to be. He's got to be.
Wait. I just hate to say this. I don't want to be this kind of person. I don't want to make it political. I don't want to make it anything. But look at y'all. But I will. But look at what y'all said. Montez Ford is the Shawn Michaels. We're talking about the Rockers analogy. Man, these are black brothers. This is black excellence. You got to compare them to fucking Harlem Heat, man. Montez Ford is the black Booker T. What is wrong with y'all? He's going to be a 5-time WCW champion.
He's definitely no Stevie Ray. That's for damn sure. I'm not going to label him the Stevie Ray. But if you want to make him the Booker T, yes, he's the Booker T. You can't say he's the black See, he's already black.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just saying, y'all. I just want to keep it. I just want to keep it 100. I want to keep it 100 right here.
yeah, he's got the Booker T. He's got the Booker T style. Thank you. See, that's why we have the brown around. But sometimes we get a little less black, and the brown will remind us where we are.
Let's see how the outside's looking in.
The Black Panthers and the Young Lords. We all here right now, so it doesn't matter. What we got next?
We gonna go with got another Raw versus SmackDown match. We got the Hurt Business with U.S. champion Bobby Lashley going up against SmackDown's Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. And again, I don't want to go. I don't play the race card here. I don't.
Stop! Let me say it.
Go ahead.
We had Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter. That's what we had. And the All Lives Matter crew was completely outnumbered. Let me just start this shit off real quick, okay? Sami Zayn looked like he wanted to say there's too many black people outside the ring. I swear to God, no one's going to tell me different. He looked like he wanted to say that as a part of the match, and he should have been allowed to say that. It's in his character. He should have been allowed to say that. He should have said, I'm just a lonely white guy. I can't take all these guys. These guys are monsters.
I was waiting for him to get on the phone and call 911. Call the police.
Sammy was great in that match with everything that he was doing. Okay? First of all, I don't think neither one of us thought he should have been going over on Bobby, unless it was some crazy sneaky shit that he did, which I thought might have happened at first.
But wait, Track. Let me just say this. Let me just say this quickly here, and Jamal, you could step in on this one. But this is the lack of consistency here because they kind of dismissed something. I mean, we have to remember a couple of months ago, Sami Zayn was aligned with Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. They had their triangle for SmackDown purposes, and totally abandoned it. It could have, made it a little bit different to have a 4-on-3. You could have had Shinsuke and Cesaro, on the outside too.
Well, if they didn't have them split up, you could have had, some.
But that's the lack of consistency. I just wanted to acknowledge the lack of consistency from, because somebody calls me a WWE apologist. I'm acknowledging that there's a lack of consistency here, that it should have happened.
But that's that. I mean, nobody's gonna look at that.
That doesn't even. It's not even a thing. Just to prove you're not in the politics.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's complaining about that. They split up months ago, and there's no reason that Shinsuke and Cesaro should have been by Sami Zayn's side.
I don't, but since you brought that up, why aren't they still a thing right now? They should be. It doesn't even fucking make sense.
They should be. They didn't really break up.
There's an inconsistency about them breaking up.
Yeah, forget all the inconsistency shit. Why just not have them still together? Have them come back together at some point. I don't see where the problem is. You're not doing shit with Nakamura and Cesaro right now anyway. Sami Zayn is always complaining. So, have some story where they come back, in his corner and they jump Daniel Bryan or something, and he has the help of the Street Profits. I don't know.
But Karen Zayn calling 911.
There's no reason to keep Sami Zayn versus the Hurt Business going. They're on two different brands. I feel like it's in general. I don't feel like they have any allegiance either. Like it's just I feel like Sami Zayn's doing his own thing. He needs a protagonist right now because Sami Zayn is obviously a heel. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's the IC champ. So
right, so it's like he's just a troll. He's a troll to everybody. He needs somebody because even when he was in these AJ Styles feuds, and I guess Jeff Hardy played that part for a second, but Jeff Hardy was kind of a loner babyface to Sami because he's really AJ's babyface at the time. Yeah. So it didn't even fit there. So he needs his own. He needs somebody to step up and hate him. so we can be like, oh, I
Well,
hate Sami
I think they're building something between Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. Even though Daniel Bryan had that thing with Jimmy Uso or with Jey Uso, I watched on SmackDown how he was going back and forth with Daniel Bryan. So they might be building something with them two, and I hope they do because I think that'll be great. Both of them, I think, would work well together, and the matches will be fucking insane.
I mean, I look at this match, and one thing I'll say, this looked like Bobby Lashley at, facing a Bellator like nobody. This was Bellator dominance. This is what Bobby Lashley talks about when he wants like some competition. That's the way I looked at it here.
Like I said, no one on this panel right now gave Sami Zayn a fucking flying pig's fart in hell of a chance to beat Bobby Lashley.
Without the racial tension, this match was boring.
Yeah, exactly. But you take away everything that Sami Zayn was doing, and this match was bullshit. So like I said, Sami Zayn made the match what it is, and he ends up getting put in the fucking in the submission, and he loses. And I like how Corey Graves tried to put fucking the fact that MVP tripped Sami, but
he did. But he did. He did. He put the leg out. I saw it myself.
Michael Cole was denying it at first. Then they played the replay. He was like, "Oh, the ref didn't see it."
Listen, I ain't see nothing. Everybody knows that BLM is on the ladder. I ain't see shit. But yeah, it was good. Her business came out on top as they should. Keep these guys strong. I want at some point Bobby Lashley to lose this belt. So him and Brock Lesnar can have their match. Listen. It doesn't even have to be Brock Lesnar, but the fact of the matter is, the Hurt Business is the best thing, in my opinion, that's going on in WWE, other than Roman Reigns' heel turn. The Hurt
and
Business,
Retribution.
Oh,
and Retribution.
But it's the best thing they got going. You have to put the legit strap on Bobby Lashley, pass that belt to like MVP, and give the tag team titles to fucking Shelton and Cedric. Give these cats all the belts, make them dominant, at least give them one season, give them the winter or the summer or the spring. I don't give a fuck. But start putting some hustle behind that muscle. Pardon the corny ass phrase.
That was really corny, but I like it.
You are forgiven.
Michael Cole would say.
Yeah, I agree.
I just want, like, I know they gave him the U.S. title to make them feel like they're more important, but we all know that U.S. title ain't shit.
No. Well, let me ask you this: do you feel like Bobby Lashley has elevated the U.S. title?
No.
Since you don't at all.
No, I think
that's a crazy statement. Since Apollo Crews had it. Lost it to MVP, and then they rebranded the title.
How many matches has he had?
It doesn't matter, yo. You
can't elevate a belt if you don't have any matches.
You want to pick the standard of the title, that you want to pick the lowest denominator of what isn't right about it to say it hasn't been elevated. So if he had defended it 10 times, you would say, well, how does the title look? But
no. Straight up.
I actually think it's different. I think if this match was Bobby Lashley having the Intercontinental Championship, we have a different tune. I think we would say the Hurt Business is in higher caliber if Bobby Lashley was the Intercontinental Champion.
No, hear me out. Unfortunately, the measuring stick for the U.S. title goes back to fucking John.
Say it. Yes.
Fuck you.
Let it roll out the tongue. Let it roll out the tongue, John.
The measuring stick, unfortunately for these fans of this generation, the measuring stick of that U.S. title goes back to John Cena. He has not come close to what that phony motherfucker has done. He just hasn't. His character has been elevated. But that title in itself, I'll say this about the title. Even though I hated the way the title looked, the way the title looks and the way it looks on Bobby Lashley is fucking great.
Okay.
You take that title and you give it to like fucking Mustafa Ali, it's gonna look like shit again.
The same person. Okay.
But the way it looks and the way it looks on Bobby looks fucking legit. So okay. I'll say that.
We'll see in 3 weeks when that happens. We'll see in 3 weeks when that shit happens.
It might.
Listen,
too.
I just want him to move on from that and it should have started out with MVP. He should have just had the title, so you can put Bobby Lashley back in that position to win the world title. Otherwise, why do we have the Hurt Business? Because you don't know what to do with a bunch of brothers. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Give me something. Give me something a little bit more. I know niggas is always asking for more, but yeah, we like more. So we want more of the Hurt Business. It's the best thing you got going.
I think the ultimate goal of the Hurt Business, if you want to say that this storyline played out to its apex, and what that would be, it's Bobby Lashley becomes heavyweight champion. I don't want to pick one because who knows what happened. Yeah.
That's what
I feel like it's obvious because they did the whole Drew McIntyre thing with Bobby Lashley, and that's kind of how the Hurt Business started. Is that he didn't win that, and they were.
You got to give me one or two things. You got to give me Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, or you got to give Bobby Lashley the title. It has to be one or the other. We're never gonna get Undertaker versus Sting, and this want for that match, especially since the Hurt Business has gotten together, has been growing. You're going to see more of that in the future, especially if Brock comes back. You're going to see a lot of people being vocal about, yo, let's see Bobby and Brock in the fucking ring. Especially with the fucking... Yo, could you imagine the promos, but with the build between Paul Heyman and MVP? Bruh, come on.
You know, as Naito would say, tranquilo, guys, tranquilo. Let's just enjoy. Let's just tranquilo. Let's just enjoy the Hurt Business and the celebration right now. That's all. Okay. You go a little bit too much into the future.
I know. I'm just saying though. I'm just saying.
And then this will get you mad when it never happens. That's why I want you to just calm down and enjoy the United States Championship.
Well, that's how they fuck up by making this thing so fucking good. Like, yo, I'm gonna want this dude.
You
to
just said it. You want so much. You want so much reparations. You're not enjoying the celebration. That's the problem.
Tranquilo does look a lot like Blackfish, though. So keep it moving.
What we got next?
We got another Raw versus SmackDown match. This time it's the ladies' turn. We got the Raw champion Asuka.
Oh, this is when I went to walk my dogs. Oh no, it's not. It's Asuka versus Sasha. My bad. Go ahead, Q.
Against the SmackDown champion, the boss, Sasha Banks. Said, I said this on the PW Hustle Facebook fan page. I'll say this here for all the Hustlites out there. I said Asuka. I think even Track said it. The workhorse 2020. It has been her year, but I actually posed the question, so I guess I'll pose it to you two guys. Asuka's the workhorse, but did this win on a Survivor Series match against Asuka make Sasha Banks the 2020 Women's Wrestler of the Year? I'm just posing that question out there because...
I'll answer this right now. Hell fucking no.
Okay, I'll just say, a win's a win, though. A win matters something.
This win doesn't matter. Come on, let's be real. These wins tonight, unless it was for a title, for what? In what way? In what
best
way?
of the best. This was a tagline.
I feel like
best
this
of the
win
best
was more important than Sasha beating Bayley on SmackDown.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, say that because she never beat Asuka. So
it's not only that she didn't beat Asuka, it's that she never got over that hump of a defense. And even though this wasn't a title defense, she beat Asuka, who's the top of the game right now in any women's division in any company. Everybody will agree that's Asuka right now, right?
All right, because she's top 10. So you say, all right, fair enough. But I can't say she's my number one. And no one has yet to come close to me changing my mind on her. Not even in New Japan. Right now, Asuka, I mean, she's been dialed back a bit, but I'm not gonna forget that fucking the summer and the early fall where this woman was just everything they wanted her to do. She went out there and did, and she fucking nailed it.
But Sasha equally nailed it too during the summer. But Sasha equally nailed it with the Golden Role Models.
Golden Role Models. But let's be real. Who Who was the real star of that? Who shined out more on that, Sasha or Bayley?
Sasha did.
You
And
think so?
because I'm gonna tell you, I know what you're thinking. You think that Sasha background, Sasha got Bayley over as a heel.
Oh, she
Because
definitely did.
before Sasha and Bayley got back together, Bayley was like this Tessa Blanchard knockoff, and you were like, I don't think this is working.
I don't know.
Right?
I go that far. I couldn't say that. I couldn't say.
No,
And
she
you know,
she
I'm
looked
a
like
big
Tessa Blanchard light, and it just wasn't.
ass. Bro.
No, not in that realm, but you know, like as a character, she hadn't had anything. She wasn't developed. Bayley as a heel didn't have a thing.
She was a one-dimensional heel. I get what you're saying, Jamal.
She cut
She was
her
very
hair and
dimensional.
she had new theme music. And Sasha
when she
put
first
her.
came out. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying Sasha put her in this new role and it worked. Sasha did work on the sidelines, and maybe you feel like she didn't make herself shine in that, but I feel like that work is.
Sasha did help, later on. But in the beginning, when the first stages of it was like, all right, let's see where she goes. Let's give her a chance. Let's see if she can get this. And as she progressed, before she aligned with Sasha, you saw her starting to shine. It was like, okay, now Sasha, I will say, amplified it. It was like CM Punk when he was a heel. He was already a good heel. Along comes Paul Heyman, amplifies it, makes it a little bit stronger. So I see you shaking your head no.
Nah, because I don't. That's
the way I'm
not the same analogy.
That's just the way I'm seeing it.
Right.
Because I'm not saying that Punk was a bad heel. I'm just saying that when they added Paul Heyman, it made him a little bit more amplified because you had two people who could talk. So you have Sasha, you have two people who are very charismatic, and Sasha was a natural heel on her own. But she was never really heelish like Bayley was. You saw Bayley really being a heel, and Sasha was just like, all right, homegirl, I'm with you. But you still felt that face from Sasha. You still kind of felt that.
I think it's more like when the Undertaker
debuted. To see that Sasha heel on the main roster.
I think it's more like when the Undertaker debuted and he was with Brother Love, and he was like, "Oh, okay, he's a bad guy."
Then he got with Paul Bearer, and it was
got Paul Bearer, and you were like, "Oh, snap!" They putting people in caskets. Like, I feel like that's what Bayley. I think that's what Sasha did for Bayley. Like, she was cool. Like, her presentation spoke, and then she got with Sasha, and Sasha just took her to a whole nother level, bro. Like, Sasha did work without doing work for herself because Sasha didn't need to work on herself. She just needed to. She was already on a comeback. She had new hair and shit. Like, she was already super high fire.
Yeah, she got the blue wig. She was on SmackDown. It worked for her. And like I said, that's
super high fire. And the first thing she did was she did a handoff to her buddy
and
made it bigger. And now Bayley can stand by herself on the Survivor Series team and carry.
Be that as it may, I still can't put her over Asuka as Wrestler of the Year. I can't put that. Because, like I said, and especially in this early of the pandemic, Asuka took over.
I like to say that that's a tough discussion. I think it's a good thing that that's a tough discussion.
That's why I posed that question on the Facebook fan page. That's what I just say. I just asked the question. I think we need to discuss things like that. We need a recount. We need to, we have to count all the legal votes here because it needs to be at least addressed. That's all I'm just saying.
The match in itself. The match in itself was a good match. It was to me it was the third. It's a tie between third and second. I might go back and watch it again, but I enjoyed it. We had a lot of good counters, and they told a good story of Sasha having to play keep up, and again Sasha not beating Bayley. They played that into that, and especially with the commentator. That wasn't bad either. So I'll give them props on that too. So. It made the match to me a little bit way more enjoyable, in which Sasha got the win, and it's fine. I don't think this win hurts Asuka. Definitely helps Sasha, but it doesn't even hurt Asuka. I don't see it. It doesn't bother me that she lost. That's fine.
Doesn't hurt Asuka because nobody on Raw has laid claim to being the next challenger yet, but we'll find out when, the next coming weeks of Raw. So
And
I don't
we know
think
that Sasha's gonna be in a fucking feud with boring ass Carmella, who they're trying to, but whatever.
Yeah, that's
the untouchable Carmella. Let's get it right now.
All I know is this: if Sasha loses that belt to Carmella, we're gonna have some smoke.
That would be trash. I'm gonna say it right now, like that would be trash. It shouldn't happen.
I don't give a fuck if she's fucking Corey Graves or not. I don't care if he bangs an asshole. I don't give a fuck. That baboon-looking bitch does not beat Sasha for the title at all. No. Sasha needs to bury her ass.
Sasha shouldn't lose that belt unless somebody came. And if Carmella built and got over, and like I said, it's hard to tell who's doing that. If somehow they built that story into you, if they convince me Carmella should win, then cool.
Well, unfortunately, they made them a tag team, but who I want to see beat Sasha for that title right now is Ruby Riott. I know a lot of people are thinking Bianca Belair, but not yet. No.
Bianca Belair too.
If that's the case, then Sasha needs to hold on to that title for over a year.
Not Liv Morgan?
Yeah.
You don't want Liv Morgan to have a chance?
No.
I'm just asking.
No. I'd rather see Ruby
or the
Riott.
boat. You don't want the boat. You want the one behind you.
Close. WrestleMania is close, and so you either have to give Sasha a win at WrestleMania, or you got to put somebody over at WrestleMania.
But see, I still think they're gonna do Sasha versus Bayley again at Mania. I think that's gonna happen. If they're gonna start a thing where Bianca wins the Women's Royal Rumble and goes, to WrestleMania to win, all right, that's fine. That's not too soon to me. No,
I don't think neither. I think they'll fight each other if you want it. Yeah, they'll fight each other, but the winner of that Women's Royal Rumble is good. No, but the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble is going to be Rhea Ripley. I'm saying it right now. That's going to happen.
You might be right.
It's a year too early.
But unless it's at Mania or SummerSlam, I do not want to see Bianca versus Sasha at all this year. At all. Non-title, 4-title, tag team. I don't want to see those.
But this is the problem. But this is the problem with
this has to be like Sabu and Taz.
No.
Away from each other as long as you can. So when they finally go, everybody.
But shit. No, but the reality track, and Jamal, this reality, I mean, with the not the supposed, but the ratings issues, and they need something quick for Fox or USA. If you can sell Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, I mean, Sasha Banks has been great ratings for Fox. Sasha and Bayley were great ratings winners for the Fox Friday Night SmackDown. Their segments were one of the highest ratings of the year. So if Sasha can keep that momentum going, and Bianca Belair could add a little sizzle to that, why not do that for Fox? That's what Fox is going to say. They're going to do that.
As long as they keep Charlotte off SmackDown, fine. Fine.
What is wrong with you? This is racism, man. This is the greatest, one of the greatest of all time.
If that
the queen.
If that flat booty bitch comes to fucking SmackDown,
she's eating rice. She's eating rice and beans. You know this. The booty's getting bigger with the rice and beans that Andrade's family is feeding her. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
I don't care how many sopes she's been eating. I don't care how many enchiladas she's been sucking down or how many salsa lessons she's been taking. That bitch stays off SmackDown. Go to Raw with that fucking garbage.
Yeah, Sasha Bayley's the big money ticket for WrestleMania, easily. But if you want to get somebody over, then it's Bianca Belair.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, what we got next?
Well, speaking of Raw versus SmackDown Women's, we have the traditional 5-on-5. You got on the Raw side.
This is when I took the dog.
You got the Raw. You got the Raw Women's Tag Team Champions. You got Nia Jax, my favorite. You got Shayna Baszler. You got Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans. I don't know why they're together. And of course, Lana is the best. Lana's number one. Shout out to Stephen Pena. Against Team SmackDown, Bianca Belair, the EST. You got Ruby Riott. You got Liv Morgan. You got the Boat, Natalya, right behind A-Track Brown. And of course, the captain of the ship, Bayley. The Boat is right there.
I never heard that. I already know what it is.
The boat is right here. The boat is right here. Look at the delicious tits on Jenny Nyland. All right, let me tell you something, yo. If I met Satan on 125th Street in Lenox and he said, "Shake my hand and she's all yours," I'm going to hell. That's my baby. It'd be funny if this shit comes up on YouTube and the background's not there and I'm playing that chaos. All right, go ahead.
Oh, God. And you look at this match, and everything, for a traditional Survivor Series match really goes into play here. And you look at, with the eliminations that were happening, and of course the storyline with Lana, that actually was very predictable, and people saw that playing out. But I just want to focus on, the Survivor Series performances, for 27 years, for 30 plus years, the Survivor Series performances is very key. So, we remember like Bam Bam Bigelow in 87. We remember Dolph Ziggler in 2014. Bianca Belair is not there in terms of greatest performances, but at least people recognize Bianca Belair. WWE recognizes Bianca Belair. She held her own, and the way they booked the ending with her and Nia Jax on the outside for the double countout, and of course Lana, not breaking a sweat, you could say, after she was demoted to the ring steps to be the sole survivor. It was a great way to end the match. What do you say, Jamal?
I like the story of this match. I didn't like how it was presented. It felt rushed. Maybe it was rushed. I don't know if they didn't have enough time. But the whole Lana dynamic of this whole match was, I felt like that was the main event of it. And so that part of it played out well. I liked everything that. It was Nia Jax, it was Shayna Baszler, and it was the Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Lana show, and everything else was.
Yeah, that's why I said, Jamal, that Bianca Belair really offers that other side where she was, the stack, the odds were against her. She performed a little bit, as well as can be, and then the ending just did it right there for me.
I feel like she had a moment, but I think if you feel like she had a standout moment in this match, I don't agree with that. I think she had a moment. I think it felt like if you want
they focused on Bianca to have not the moment, but at least the performance to at least people to validate that she is what she is.
She was definitely spotlighted. It was after
what they did. I was going to say
what the story of the match was about. If you want to say the catalyst of it was Bianca Belair, but it was still. I feel like the match was still to set up Lana and Nia Jax, and that's what it did. Bianca Belair, she shined in that.
They tried to show her. They tried to give her some shine. That's what
they tried.
They tried to give her some shine. They let her show off some of her athleticism. Her best moments came in when she came in on the hot tag or the elimination, and she was doing all the flips over at Nia Jax, and she had the count out. I knew from the jump where this was going. I even said it on a Solid Monster thread. I said Lana, even before the match, I said Lana's going to be the lone survivor, which she was. I'm glad that Bianca didn't get a pin, but I also felt that at the end of the day, Bianca shouldn't even been in this fucking match. They should have at least for Bianca, what they should have did was a brand versus brand, exhibition. Throw her somebody.
Even the way that I have to feel like we have to describe it. That the match wasn't about her, so even to try to push her into what it was like. I think I already know that you want to build Bianca Belair, so you don't have to show me right here.
Exactly. You're trying to build this woman. Don't put her in this match where she kind of gets lost in the sauce and say, well, we let her do this here, so you can't really complain because we gave her something. And in my opinion, she would have been better off in a kickoff match with, like I said, just a brand versus brand exhibition against like a Nikki Cross or somebody. They could have just fed Nikki to her, and you could have showed us something right there, and they could have said, oh, Bianca tore the house down in the pre-show or whatever.
I think it would have been better.
You don't value pre-shows. Wait a minute. You don't even value pre-shows. So how you gonna say that's a demotion? That's what people would have said.
No. No.
They would have said that.
I understand people would have said that. But all I'm saying, I don't mean pre-show literally. I meant, opening the show.
Okay,
all
okay.
all I'm saying is, she could have been in a singles match instead of in this match, because you really want to get her over, and this is Survivor Series. And they really, and they're gonna do that. They're gonna talk about the 30 seconds where she was doing flips and shit. But it's like, that's not shit. Like, for us anyway. Because I keep telling people, right now there ain't no casuals watching. It's all IWC, especially in the Corona era. It's all IWC, YWC, whatever you want to fucking call it, PWC podcast. So it's whatever you want to fucking call it.
Yeah, it is.
So it's only us watching. So it put her in a fucking singles match. Don't put her in this shit.
She could have came out with the Street Profits as their valet, and I would have been like, "Oh, Bianca Belair's with him." You know, she could have celebrated with him after. Like, it would have been good enough.
Let's give credit what credit is due. Once again, they kept the story continuity in play of Lana and Nia Jax. She was the lone survivor, and being that this bitch has been put through tables, God knows how many weeks. And we all
do you guys realize how many people lost money in Vegas because they bet that Lana was going to go through the table? If you bet on the ladder, you would have made a lot of money.
I know if I would have made some bets that she wasn't and she was going to be the lone winner, I would have been a fucking millionaire most likely.
I understood why she didn't go through the table later, though.
Exactly.
I'm just saying that's right there. That's Vegas right there. If you bet against Lana going through the table, you made some money tonight. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, they came up.
So what do we have next?
Well, to close the show, I guess the main event wrestling wise, you got.
I can talk about something that happened in the pre-show. I guess it happened in the pre-show that I saw that they showed later, and that was the fucking gobbledygooker. That shit had me on the fucking floor. I was like, oh my God, they're actually making me laugh. That shit was hilarious. You had this nigga left a trail of birdseed. The announcers completely fucked up the analogy by fucking calling the gobbledygooker the coyote instead of the roadrunner, but Corey Graves did a great job at fucking giving him shit for it. R-Truth gets his baby back again after Tozawa fucking, gets the pin on the gobbledygooker, and no one should be complaining at all. This is fucking Thanksgiving, Survivor Series. You need the gobbledygooker. That was great. I just wanted to say that. So let's go.
Comedy done right. I agree 100%. And he lost his foot. He lost his foot twice. He lost his claws.
Once again, I have to say, wrestling all around in many versions, and even in the comedy, from AEW to a nigga getting shot at a wedding on Impact to this, I was very fucking entertained, and it made me laugh.
I did not see that Impact show, and we're not going to talk about it right now, but what?
What?
What are you talking about?
What? Are you fucking serious? Jamal! You know what? You're out of the crew. You know what?
I do not know what you're talking about.
That's punishment. You're in the crew. Yo, okay, so let me bring this down real quick. Rosemary and Johnny Bravo, if you didn't know, Impact did this thing called Wrestle House. And it just so happens the set where they did Wrestle House was the set where Dave Chappelle filmed the skit for The Mad Real World, which by then I was already intrigued to see how this would go. Some people didn't like it. I saw it for what it was. I thought it was funny. I didn't see everything. But in between all of that, at some point, Rosemary and former referee Johnny Bravo got engaged. Okay, she had a match to bring back James Mitchell because she needed James Mitchell. Of course, how are you going to have a wedding with Rosemary and not bring back the Sinister Minister? So he comes back. They have a bunch of funky-ass groomsmen, a funky-ass bridesmaids, and right before, and James Mitchell was presiding over the wedding. Who else but James Mitchell would do that? Get Paul Heyman, but they couldn't. So you have James Mitchell presiding over the wedding, and right before he says you may kiss the demon, the lights go out, and somebody fucking shoots Johnny Bravo. Yo, it went from AEW doing a song and dance to Impact literally saying, start shooting these niggas, yo.
What, there was like a gunshot that went out, and then the light came back on, and he had like a hole in
the fire from a gunshot. This nigga is on the floor. Tommy Dreamer is screaming, no! Bravo after saying, who shot Bravo?
How did I miss this?
I don't know.
Was this during the week of the election? Like how distracted was I?
Like a week before, like a week or 2 weeks before it.
Because that sounds like a big deal. Like I don't know how that went over.
It was the dumbest, stupidest, funniest fucking thing you would ever fucking see. And since then, Tommy Dreamer has dressed like Sherlock Holmes trying to find suspects. My suspect is it was the driver of the Hummer. That's who I think did it.
So in Track's world, you're happy with the song and dance. You're happy with a gunshot at the wedding, and you're happy with gobbledygooker. So 3 for 3.
3 for 3. Listen. I'm gonna call it like it is. I said it before.
No, I'm not making fun of it. You're happy. That's good. That's fine.
And if I'm happy in all things wrestling with shit like that, then you know that it's a good time. All right, I'm not bullshitting you. Everybody should understand that I'm keeping it real. Go check it out if you haven't. There are some funny shits, and I you know what? You might disagree, but I give all the credit to AEW just for existing because it's making people up their fucking game, which is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. No matter how you feel about AEW, if I'm gonna give credit where credit is due, it's even before AEW. You gotta give credit to Matt Hardy with the cinematic stylings that he brought within Impact Wrestling.
Matt Hardy might have saved quarantine wrestling single-handedly. How could you have had WrestleMania this year without Matt Hardy doing the groundwork? And Lucha Underground.
I didn't even think about that shit. You're absolutely right. Lucha Underground, Matt Hardy made it possible for the existence of wrestling through the fucking pandemic.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm a genius. I knew I should have put this nigga on, yo. God damn, I'm a smart motherfucker. You heard it here first, yo. The Lucha Underground and Matt Hardy saved wrestling during the pandemic because we would have never got these cinematic matches.
By themselves, like if you think about it.
I didn't say all that. I'm just giving it credit where credit is due.
You don't have to say it. It's obvious.
It's the truth.
You wouldn't have had the AJ Undertaker match. You wouldn't have had John Cena and The Fiend. What would they have done? They would have tried to do regular matches. Trust me.
It's like if you went back in time and killed David Manning, who started Napster, you wouldn't have none of this shit. You wouldn't have YouTube. You wouldn't have iTunes. All of that shit came out of the birth of Napster. So all of this shit came out of the birth of Lucha Underground. So, it is what it is.
I guess we'll leave it like that. So I guess the last thing we could talk about is the main event, Raw champ. Yeah, I got Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion, against the Universal champion, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. I build it as the Tribal Chief against the Scottish Thundercat, Drew McIntyre. That's the way I build it.
I like it.
And the problem with this is, yeah, I mean, you got the sword right there, and you got the long flowing hair. All we need is the Thundercat eyes. So, that's. If Vince McMahon is watching this, I'm going to send this to him via the Twitter, from PRF.
But Roman looks more like Lionel than Drew.
That is true. But, the funny thing is Roman, for the build-up, Roman has called Drew the secondary champion. I can understand that because he's the Tribal Chief, the face of the WWE. But unfortunately, Roman is carrying the secondary championship, the Universal Championship.
I kept saying that shit during the entire promo. I kept saying that shit during the entire.
So I'm objective here. The secondary champion is Roman Reigns because the Universal Champion is a prop championship. The prestige, the history. Drew is holding the prestige and the history of the WWE championships right there. And you know what? You convinced me, Track. When I looked at this match, I didn't see Drew McIntyre. This match, I saw Drew Galloway. I saw if Track and me were talking, this was like TNA against WWE. This would be the dream match that you're looking for. Roman Reigns, the best of WWE against the best of Impact Wrestling. This is the way I looked at it, and it was a good match. It was a physical match, and that's the way I looked at it.
Strange.
I'm objective.
Strange.
Mm-hmm. That's the way I got.
It was the best
ahead.
Drew Galloway match in WWE so far. It was that guy that you've been wanting to see before he was with Dolph Ziggler.
It was that guy. It was that guy that Track's been talking about on Solid Monster, on PW Hustle. He's the one that's been saying this stuff. This is it. This is all Track. I'm giving Track all praises here. All praises to Allah. Track been talking about this. This is Drew I saw Drew Galloway. I did not see Drew McIntyre in this match.
Yo, I'm glad you said that because I was trying to tell people that during this match on threads and shit. Yo, it was. I was saying to myself, and I was saying online, I'm like, yo, this is like when he was fighting Bobby Lashley. That's how I felt. And a lot of it had to do with the kickouts and the big moves that they were doing. Roman in this transition to him being this really asshole-ish heel. It started out good, and when I say it started out good, doesn't mean I'm saying it's getting bad. It's just not going the direction I thought it was going. As far as he is with his family, what I wanted and what I thought and what I wanted was for him, to say what he said to Jay and Jimmy, and then them just joining him. I didn't really want to see him belittling them like shit. I just wanted to see like the Samoan dynasty stand strong. Like after
this is exactly this is love. This is tough love here.
It seems like it's going that way. It's just going a little bit more slowly than I want. But I don't want Roman, like, all right, I get that they're turning him heel. I don't want him to actually go heel. I want him to kind of be a tweener at least. If they're gonna go to route, and I get it. If you have Paul Heyman, you can't be a tweener. You're just gonna be a heel, unless there's an insinuating circumstance. I want the Usos to be more not his equal, but I don't want to see him treating them like his minion nobodies. That's all I'm saying. Let it be more of a family thing, and it seems like it's happening that way. It's just going a little bit slower than I thought. That's all.
Yeah, I think the professor was starting to look on that. Roman, I think he is being the tweener because he hasn't done anything despicable except to his own family.
He crushed his cousin's head in the fucking face.
He did it.
But it's tough love. It's a symbolic tough love with the Samoan dynasty.
He did it to grow his own family, the strength of his family. That's the only reason he did that. And he did it like he had resentment about it. He was like, don't make me do this. Don't make me hurt you to make you better.
Right.
He doesn't have bad qualities. He's just like, he's the daddy that whoops you because you didn't finish it. You didn't get an A on your homework. Like,
it's gonna hurt me. It's gonna hurt me more than it hurts you, but it's gonna hurt. Beat you with a switch, it hurts me. It's gonna hurt me more than it hurts you. Go get that switch.
He might cry in his room later. You don't even know it. That's not on camera. But he had to whoop them, He got to whoop them so that they become Roman Reigns level characters. And I think that's where it's headed. That Jey Uso has to be.
If it ends that way, then fine. Yeah.
Yeah, you got those WWE can't do shit right goggles on. So,
but when it headed here, when Jimmy comes back, they are getting those tag team titles. That's happening. And
and they go. I feel like it's obvious they're going to be the unbeatable tag team, and Jey Uso. I think Jey Uso first is going to get to a level where people don't want to fight Jey Uso.
Yeah. It all depends on. I think everything depends on how long Jimmy is going to be out. Because, like I said, I think when Jimmy's ready to go, they're going to just start, a feud with the Street Profits and take those titles. I wish Samoa Joe was going right now. I know he's not related to them technically. But
it will work.
It would work.
It will work in this story as just like a little piece to fill in some middles.
I was so hoping that they would grab Samoa Joe to SmackDown as a commentator so he would play a role in this whole thing. But they're not. It seems like they're not going to do that. And the whole thing, it's funny because I
was hoping something bigger than that.
Well,
I was hoping they could grab like Tama Tonga.
Oh.
I was way out in La La Land, like, they could bring Tama Tonga just to pin a little bit.
Tyler Perry's Tama Tonga. I'm soon. And I say that because if you look at that motherfucker now, he looks like he's gonna be in a Tyler Perry. The nigga looks like Rick Fox.
He don't have braids, do he?
No, he just cut off his hair and his beard. He looks like Rick Fox. Like straight up and down.
I call him Tama Del Rio. That's the way he looks to me right now.
No, straight up and down, he's looking like he's fucking Mexican. But if my whole thing is, I'm hoping that this will lead to him versus The Rock. And I was saying, like,
that's obvious, right? You can't. That's
It's gotta be.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's
I
gotta be.
don't know where else you're going. You're not even doing this if that's not what it is.
I don't give a shit how much money they gotta pay him. I don't care how much they gotta beg him. I don't care what you gotta do. This has to end with him versus The Rock. And I was all like,
but track.
Hold on. Because I was gonna say, I wanted him to look at Rock in the face and be like, "You can't be the head of the table. You're not even full Samoan." But I found out recently that Roman is not full Samoan. So how the fuck are you head of the table when you're half Italian? That throws this whole shit out of the water. I'm sorry.
How much? Wait, how much Italian?
How?
Italian.
You digging into it?
Oh, whose side? The father, the mother? I'm just asking.
Side. His mom.
Mom's side. So it's like,
wait, no, he's dominant. The dominant gene is the male gene, so he's Samoan. So he's still held at the table. That's genetics. That's genetics.
All right, since you want to go Israelite on us, since the father is Samoan, he'll go Samoan. I made this nigga get up and leave.
That's what I just said.
This nigga got up and left. Holy shit, Jamal was like, fuck.
Did he agree or what? I don't know. He co-signed. He's co-signing. He's co-signing. That's what it is.
Holy shit. Yo, okay.
I'm just gonna say this, just in case if we can't get The Rock, and just in case he's filming a movie, this match at least validates if they want to do a rematch. This match could say, you can sell out WrestleMania with a Drew McIntyre Roman 2, and Drew can, just in case. I'm just saying.
The only way that works is if The Miz would have came out and cashed in on Drew Galloway.
I was waiting for that too. I was waiting.
Yeah, and I thought because the rumors were it's going to be Roman versus Drew. Well, at least some rumors I saw, and I said, okay, if that's going to happen, then Roman needs to beat his ass after the match. Miz comes in, cashes in. He blames Roman, wins the Royal Rumble, chooses to fight Roman at WrestleMania. It still would piss me off because this has to end with Roman versus Rock. The winner's the head of the table. The Rock wins, and we get another match at the next WrestleMania, and Roman Reigns is a face and not a heel.
It can
That's
work either way.
crazy because I still think Jey Uso is winning the Royal Rumble.
You really do?
I think Jey Uso's winning the Royal Rumble because that's
Wow.
I feel like that's the arc of Jey Uso's story, and we have to get there.
You know this is not New Japan, right?
I know.
You know this is not New Japan, right?
The ceiling for the ceiling.
Do this just to have a Rock and Roman WrestleMania. I think they will negate the Royal Rumble just to say that Roman pushed Jey Uso to the point of winning the Royal Rumble, and now it's going to be Roman versus Jey at WrestleMania. But the catalyst is The Rock is he's the actual chief of the table that comes in.
So what you're saying is Jey wins, but it somehow ends up The Rock versus Roman?
Yeah. Because Jey wins, but Jey's loyalty, because Jey wouldn't win the Royal Rumble without Roman getting him there. So Roman now you have a match where it feels like Jey's gonna lay down for Roman.
Okay.
So the chief of the table's like the actual chief, who's The Rock, is like, nah.
Smell
with The Rock, it's cooking. And so Jey and Roman are in the ring, like, yeah, we shaking hands and shit, signing the contract. Signing the contract, like, yeah, we're about to have a WrestleMania match. And so you got The Rock that comes in and steps in as the actual chief. I feel like
that'd be nice, but I think the ceiling is for Jey Uso on a singles tip is the IC title. That's as far as it goes, and that's even more for even Jey Uso in his WWE career to get that. I could see him being the IC champion, just in case if Jimmy isn't back yet.
I agree with the professor. If we talking if this was 1998, I would be like, that's what's gonna happen. Yeah. I'm trying to be progressive in the story, the way that 2020 kind of does it.
Damn, you're saying I'm conservative here? I'm going backwards?
Yeah. I'm putting my.
You socialist? You a socialist?
Like, I tell you this. In the perfect world. When you look utopian WWE.
When you look at this match, if this was a test, let's say a test for WrestleMania, then they pass with flying colors. I've been critical of Roman, not so much his wrestling style, more of him as a character. He is coming off with this character laid back, more Diesel-like I've been fucking saying he should be. The arrogance and he went on from saying to Jay, I did this for you, this, that, and the third, to, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be here. But at the end of the day, you're only this because, if I don't want to do that. And
wait, Track, can I ask you one question?
Go ahead.
This would be the perfect time for him just to at least say one time, for at least you to get a reaction, suffering succotash in that Diesel voice. In that cool.
No. We don't need that. We don't need to go back to that. They will completely ruin that motherfucker forever.
Just to mock everybody.
Ain't no way. Well, if somebody said it to mock him, but ain't no way he can say it. No. We don't take me back there. But the fact of the matter is, the match in itself was awesome, and they told this good story. But I just remember earlier in the night how Roman was so disappointed in Jay. Where I felt that, okay, since you're talking all this shit, you need to lose this match. With the way you're going at your cousin and with the way you being hella pompous right now. And it almost kind of reminded me of when Triple H was saying what he was saying to Booker T. We only use you for this, and you fit here with your nappy hair. And he goes on to win. So Roman fucking basically runs down Drew Galloway.
Always about race. Candice Owens is right. It's always about race, man. You're always bringing that up. Hodge twins are right. Terrence Williams is right. You just bring up the race card right now. What the hell?
Fuck all those coons, by the way. But I'm just saying, it felt that way when Roman was saying what he was saying to Drew on SmackDown. It felt like you were going into this hoping that Drew was going to win to shut Roman up. But as you can see, they're still. But that's
the psychological event. But that's the psychological advantage that Roman has on Jay, and Jay trying to get acceptance for the table.
That's why I gave it a pass, because Jay later comes in, makes his appearance when the ref's knocked out. Causes a distraction, and Roman gets the low blow. And by the way, he's got to get rid of that fucking gold bowling ball wrist thingy, whatever the fuck he's wearing, because that shit looks stupid.
That's the Thanos. That's the Thanos arm. That's the Thanos glove.
Right there.
That's the Avengers glove.
That's the Infinity Punch erase everybody.
Yeah, that's the Infinity Gauntlet glove.
The fact that it's gold just makes it look stupid. I'm like, yo, why is it looking like that? That shit kept getting on my nerves. But listen, this match was fire. I can't complain. You know what I'm saying? What say you, Jamal?
I love this match. At the beginning of this review, I said there were two good matches. It was Sasha Banks and Asuka, and Roman Reigns and Drew Galloway. Because it was Drew Galloway tonight. Gotta be my favorite Drew McIntyre match in WWE. He came with the thing that he was supposed to be. And maybe
he carried that match.
He carried the match. He did. He carried it. He made us think that he can beat Roman Reigns. And at points, I felt anyway that he should beat Roman Reigns. He can and he should, and something has to happen so Roman can win. And that's why I feel like we got Drew Galloway, because Roman had to cheat. And that's kind of the element that we've been missing.
Think they're done here.
You said what?
I don't think they're done here. I think we're going to
What do
see
you think?
Roman again.
Ooh,
Going to fight again. I don't think they're done here.
that could be a WrestleMania match, but that's a whole different shit. That's what we
It-
were.
it- it
talking
is,
about
but-
That's
that.
Plan B. That's why I call it Plan B, just in
Yeah.
case The Rock is filming a
Yeah,
movie. You got the match here.
Just in case Black
I
Adam. starts
see
filming,
them.
they
Yeah,
like-
exactly. I see them, bumping heads again at some point. Maybe Drew loses his title and goes to SmackDown, but I see they're not done here. Like I have a feeling that Vince is gonna want Drew to get his
too
win
well,
back.
right? I don't know if everybody felt like it should have worked that well, but it worked better than I expected, and maybe better than everybody backstage expected. And now it's like I feel like Roman did for Drew what they were trying to get Randy to do, and it legitimized him. It made him feel like he can beat anybody. And so
let me tell you, man. You brought up Randy Orton, and
Oh Lord, we were going along swimmingly, and then you brought up the name. God damn.
I'm not gonna go on a rant. I'm not gonna go on a rant. I'm just saying that I'm not fucking around. I did not watch Raw unless it has something to do with the Hurt Business, or the only shit that I watched. I did not watch Raw the entire time Randy Orton wasn't champion. When I saw that he was fighting Drew, I tuned in 6 minutes into the match to see who would win. And when I saw Drew won, I said, okay, I can go back to watching this stupid shit again. But I was not. I'm just glad I stuck to my guns. I'm glad Drew's. I don't want to see Randy Orton as champion ever again. Ever again. I don't want to see it. I can't. I won't. Yo, Jamal, before we get out of here, take us home with the tribute that they had at the end. I think your mic is muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. I'm gonna finish it. I think what they were doing. I'm finishing the thought since I was talking on mute. I think what they were doing with Drew and Randy is trying to put Drew over and put him in this position where he's the actual champion. Because even though Drew's been champion since WrestleMania and he beat Brock, I don't think the feeling
No, he
was
hasn't
there.
been champion since WrestleMania. He lost the belt to Randy Orton.
So he was championing through that time, and then
he was the main eventer. He was the main event.
But I don't think
picture.
it actually felt like he was. I think it was just always like,
Well, that's how it always is when you're fucking WWE champion and they already got the guy. He was CM Punk again. He wasn't.
Okay, Drew got something tonight that I don't think CM Punk got.
Tonight's show. You realize that, right? Do you realize he didn't close tonight's show?
Oh, come on, no. The Undertaker's retirement, it wasn't even a match. Drew and Roman closed tonight's show, and then we had a celebration after. We had a wake.
He closed tonight's show with matches, but he did overall. And
you being nitpicky. You being nitpicky.
I'm just
being nitpicky right now.
Double main event. It was a double main event. You had a match and the tribute. That's what it's called. Double main event. That's what it's called. Marquees.
He didn't close the show.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Bro, the Drew versus Roman match did for Drew what I think that Orton versus Drew feud was supposed to do. And just in this one match, I felt like at least Drew is a main eventer and he could beat anybody that you put in front of him. Just because he stood in front of Roman and the match played out like it should, and I felt like Roman can't win this match. I started feeling like after the second spear, I'm like, oh, Drew's finna kick him in the face and it's over. That's where I stood. And so something had to happen for Roman to win, and I think that put Drew up here. And so that's all I was saying, so we can move on. and he main evented the pay-per-view. Like it was the last match. Don't be like that.
All right. So before we go, why don't you send us home with what ended the show? Because it wasn't a match.
Double main event, double marquee. Try get it right. Double marquee.
Listen, let me tell you something. I'm pretty sure if there was a marquee, it would have said Survivor Series farewell to the Undertaker. That's exactly what that shit would have said.
Well, technically, I think the poster does have the marquee of the Undertaker 30 symbol as it.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Listen to what
But
you
that's
said
okay.
though.
But
The
that's okay.
last 8 months of wrestling has been for who?
It hasn't been
For
Drew
the
Galloway
no,
or
it's
Drew
been for
McIntyre
what audience? For the
for the
ICW, right?
IWC. Yeah,
The
IWC.
IWC. So that's the main event to us. And then we get
Okay.
we can go hang out with the casual crowd and watch the
Oh, you
Undertaker fan
lied.
crowd.
But send us home on what happened with the Undertaker. Go ahead.
All right, so Undertaker farewell starts. They send Shane. It's a who's who of who's coming out. I feel like they left some people out, but they covered way more than I thought would be covered. So we're talking about Shane McMahon, of course, Big Show, JBL, of course, Jeff Hardy, Godfather. I didn't think would come out. I would have hoped he came out as Papa Shango, but I was thinking, oh, Godfather got to come out just because he part of that backstage crew Undertaker had. And they brought everybody that's still alive that the Undertaker hung out with. And
It was the BSK reunion, so he had to do that.
Everybody alive
I said
in
send
the
us home. Don't
BSK.
depress us.
I'm sorry. Rest in peace, Yokozuna, Umaga, anybody who would have been in those dice games. The Godwins, yo, that's when you know they were just listening to. I know that Mark Calloway was saying I want my people there, and that's why the Godwins was there. There's no other reason.
I saw the pictures with them, but I didn't think they were gonna appear. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Mankind, Savio Vega, another Undertaker call, I think. Kevin Nash, Rikishi, Booker T, Shawn Michaels, of course, Ric Flair, of course, Triple H, of course, and Vince McMahon closed it off. And he watered up in the tears. Like, my eyes is getting a little watery right now because
it hurts.
Because
it hurts.
I watched the last ride, and I have a better understanding of Vince and Undertaker's professional career, and it's super father and son-ish, and that what they did is we have to say at this point that Undertaker is Vince McMahon's greatest creation and the greatest WWE superstar.
Well, I can't say he's Vince's creation because he technically was.
I don't know. That's a debate.
Hold on. See, you're on with the PW Hustle, and the PW Hustle has the Professor. Professor, you're on.
I mean, you could give Vince McMahon, some credit. I mean, there is a whole bunch of people back in the 90s.
Listen.
Bruce Pritchard.
No. When I say Professor, you're on, that means don't give Vince shit. Just say
no. I'm just saying, but the Mark Calloway said those things too, but he gets a little credit. Bruce Pritchard gets credit. Pat Patterson gets credit. That was the nucleus of creativity back then. That three-headed monster there, Vince, Pat Patterson, Bruce Pritchard, they have all, that was the real, cohesion for that.
We'll give it by himself if we want to start having this conversation. But what I'm saying is the character that grew out of Vince McMahon's reign as the boss of WWE is The Undertaker.
Hey, we don't know it. Maybe Vince McMahon would have been drunk and said, why don't you be the guy coming out of the egg and be the gobbledygooker? We don't know. So, we got to keep it real, too.
I'm talking, okay, I'll say it in a way that you understand. Under the Vince McMahon administration, The Undertaker is the greatest character that has come out of it.
No. All jokes aside, I think I'll save my thoughts for last. Q, go ahead.
I mean, it was very poignant. When I saw The Undertaker come out, I just remembered 1990. I was 13 years old. 30 years later, I'm 43. So, I grew up with The Undertaker. I grew up with 25-2. I grew up with, all the stuff that the Monday Night Wars and the ruthless aggression and the new era, whatever you want to call it, with The Undertaker. I'm glad that, hopefully that WrestleMania against AJ Styles in that style that he did is his last hurrah. I'm glad that he was alone in the ring. I did not want it to be everybody there clapping. It felt right that Undertaker kept it within the business because he didn't want to kayfabe it and turn it into Mark Calloway and say thank you. He kept it with the Undertaker character, so I actually like that. So let him have a beer backstage with BSK and Shane McMahon and Shawn Michaels and all that stuff in the background. But the way he sent it off, it was great.
Awesome. When it comes to characters that scare you, I think as far as I can remember, as all of my friends in wrestling goes, I think the first character that actually put some fear into them, it wasn't the Undertaker actually, it was Kamala. I know a lot of people who were scared of Kamala because of his mask. And it's not to play the Undertaker in any way. For myself, the first wrestler that actually made me like scared, freaked out was the Great Muta, and second was the Undertaker. I felt that the Undertaker he was this character. He was the dead man. You couldn't hurt him. You didn't see really anything before that, with the exception of maybe Zeus. You could hit him in the chair. You could hit him with a chair, and Zeus would smile at Hogan. He was kind of the only one who would no sell before anyone. But for the one who brought it to the forefront, the one who doesn't feel pain, before the Goldbergs, before the Roman Reignses, there was the Undertaker, and he was my favorite. He was my favorite character. I always felt that he's the one who's Mr. WrestleMania because he was undefeated. It was lo and behold that I didn't realize the reason why HBK was called Mr. WrestleMania was because of his match quality. But the Undertaker in general, for me, he just had some of the best feuds. The one I remember the most was with Jake the Snake, and it started out with, he was starting out feuding with the Ultimate Warrior. And I always wanted to see a Papa Shango and Undertaker feud, but I don't think we ever got to see that. And, just his WrestleMania matches just got, so much better as the years went on. The character got so much badass. Speaking of which, you had the American Badass, which I fucking loved. It turns out Vince didn't care for that character too much, but I know I loved it. Especially when he was feuding with Ric Flair, his feud with fucking Jeff Hardy over the title. That was great. And there's two matches. Well, actually, I did see him versus the Great Muta. I did see him fight Jinsei Sasaki, aka Hakushi, in New Japan. Great fucking matches. But unfortunately, we will never see him versus Sting at WrestleMania. And during this whole thing, I kept saying to myself, please turn on the lights and Sting be behind him. Please turn on the lights and Sting be behind him. And then another part of me said, in a perfect world, turn on the lights and let the Great Muta be behind him and spit the fucking mist in his eyes. And then a part of me said, but who would know that? Then a part of me said, this is all IWC. We all know who the fucking Great Muta is. But I would always have loved to have seen what it would have been like if you had a build and a feud for WrestleMania with the Great Muta and the Undertaker. I always think about that. I've created that in all my wrestling, WWE 2K games. The Undertaker versus the Great Muta at WrestleMania. I always wanted to see that. But for all intended purposes, everyone really wanted to see Sting versus Taker, and we're never gonna see that, and that pisses me off.
That's why you got WWE 2K to do the Sting versus Undertaker, and it would be better there instead of a 55-year-old Undertaker against a 53-year-old Sting or whatever.
But let me tell you, man, there could never be any reason, and I've heard them all, but there could never be any reason where I could be satisfied with for the reason we never had Taker versus Sting. It was so obvious.
No, they had their chance in Atlanta. Atlanta would have been the best spot for Undertaker against Sting, but they didn't pull the trigger there.
Sting versus Triple H. Nobody cared to see that shit. Who gave it? Unless it was, colorful. Whoa, Sting. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted to see that. You wanted Taker versus Sting. Crow Sting.
You know what? You got to pull an audible, and Triple H pulled the greatest audible for the greatest win in Triple H's career. You know, we don't want to go into the stinks. We don't want to go into that stuff right now. So all praises to the Undertaker.
All right, we're already hour and 30 minutes in. I'm not gonna start ranting now.
Yeah, I want to go to sleep eventually right now. But all in all, I think I give Survivor Series. I gave it an 8.5. 8.5 out of 10. I think it was that good. I think the singles matches and the Raw versus SmackDown singles matches was way better than the Raw versus SmackDown elimination matches, hands down. I think they all delivered. That's why I give it 8.5.
All right, Mr. Lude, what do you give it?
I'm gonna give. This is out of 10. I'm gonna give it a solid 7. It was a show that I can't complain about and that I'll remember a lot of things from. I'm gonna remember those two. Drew and Roman and Asuka and Sasha, and I might remember the women's elimination match. I'm gonna understand the finish from it at least.
I gave it a 7.5. Actually, I gave it a 7.5. The half is the fact that all the stories, they continued to tell the stories that they were telling. I thought that was very important, even though it didn't feel special because there was no tag team, there was no titles involved or whatever. But that was a good part of it. You had the Oscar match, you had the main event match, and you had the tag match. So 3 matches that I thought were great. So I gave it a 7.5. Before we get out of here, Mr. Williams, let them know where they can find you, brother.
You can find me on this show. That's the only place I hang out. I hang out with them more often. Cause what? You don't need to find me nowhere. Okay, I'm Lou. I'm Lou Scotto on Twitter. So find me there so I can retweet this stuff.
Q, let them know. You can find me on my Twitter at PROFPW Hustle, aka Professor PW Hustle, and when we get our act together, maybe you can find me on the PW Hustle networks at PODBEAN.com to do some pro wrestling reflection with myself and the Tommy Wonder.
All right, and you can find me at Twitter at ATRAC-Dastardly, TRAC, no K. Don't forget PW Hustle, where we do the fucking reactions as well. Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Walking Dead World Beyond, Cobra Kai. Psst, it's fucking Mandalorian, thank you. And I'm even trying to get the Professor to do some shit. Maybe I'll fucking order Jamal to fucking start. I know he watches.
Y'all be reviewing the Mandalorian without me?
Well, I don't review it. I do reactions to it. If you want to review it, then we'll have you do reviews to it. We'll add that to the PW Hustle if we can. I'll do the reactions. Jamal will do the reviews. Maybe he'll do the reviews and the reactions. Who fucking knows? We just add more shit to this. You know why? Because we are the PW Hustle, and we are miles ahead of that shit that you would hear on Hameen Media. This is where you get the real shit. This is where motherfuckers tell you the real shit. We ain't out there chasing fake news and false conspiracy theories, all right? This is where the shit is. And Jamal Lude Williams, he has joined us once again, and I cannot tell you how much it means to me that my brother is here with us, and he is fully along with the PW Hustle and pledges all things hustle, as long as he stays away from Jenny Neidhart.
I love disagreeing with you, Track. It's one of my favorite things to do on the internet.
The balance of power has shifted when I have another WWE person that can at least understand where I'm coming from here. So the balance of power has shifted.
Bring it all on. I'll take it all on. Yo, like, comment, subscribe. Jay Williams, the Professor, A-Track Brown, the Titty Neidharts, Survivor Series 2020, and we out this motherfucker. Now that's a light show.